Good morning, everybody. I am Ideola doing. I have been your teacher for a while now, and it's so lovely to be back here to teach you. Previously, we've learned some topics, how to write oral stories. Out. We've done a lot of this. So now we are going to writing a killer first page. Let's just say writing an intriguing first page of your book. First page is very, very important, both to the writer and to the reader. Now, the first page is actually what determines how the story is going to be like. For instance, your reader is only going to continue the book if he or she finds the first story, the first page interesting. Then, and at the same time, writing the first page can be very difficult for a writer. No, it's because it has a lot of effect on your reader. You have to put in a lot of more work. So, we are going to be taking how to go about writing a killer first page. Number one is begin your story. And then before you can begin your stories, you need to identify all your incidents and then you have to mark them out. So that it can allow you to plan very well for your book. Then you know what incidents to put first and the last one. Then so mark out the specific list of events that leads your character to that moment. Now, this point is very, very crucial. And I want to add that your first paragraph of your book, of your page, has lots of effect on your readers. So you have to work a lot on it. Now, you should also know how far you should go. Are you introducing you should at least you should be able to connect to your reader with your reader at the first page, and then you should also know how much you should go, the the amount of characters you are introducing, the events. Let your reader get connected with it. Let them have enough information. You're giving them information and at the same time you're not giving a larger percent of the information, because along the line it can bore your reader because they already know where your story is going. Just like you're giving them not little and not too much of the events that are happening in your stories. So now let's go to the next one. Okay, about how far you should go, you're introducing your setting. Your Yes, introducing your setting does not mean that you're sitting at the table and then you're describing it. No, you need to allow your characters to connect with your setting. It means showing your characters interacting with the setting and showing how the setting affects your character. For example, now I am trying to describe a room. I am not just saying on the table, the room is this, the room. No, I am using a lot of imaginations, a lot of senses, the smell, the sight, colors, smell. I've mentioned smell, colors, images that actually has a way of connecting your readers. For example, now I am entering into a kitchen, and at the same time, I am seeing a lot of pots, empty pots, and then I am looking at another corner. There are bunches of food stuff and all of that, and getting to the pot. The pot is empty, but at the same time, I am very damn hungry. Now, you're allowing your character to connect with the environment in which they find themselves at the present. Now, let's go to the third point. I've mentioned the first point. I said start your story. The next one is know how far you should go. I talked about your characters, the number of characters you are introducing, the events, and then you should allow your readers to your character, yes, to be able to connect with your with the setting. Now you're going to hook the reader. Now, this is very, very much interesting because a book in which a reader cannot connect with, it's going to bore them and then they are going to drop it somewhere. So now, how do you hook your reader? There are four different ways. Number one is creating an interesting world. This has to do with fantasies, things that people want to see, people things that people want to hear, and all of that. Then another one is a compelling misery. This is one of the factors that horror stories actually make use of. A misery, uh, yes, they connect to the elements of fear, things that grips their fear, things that actually looks absurd. You understand? Now the third one is the emotional hook. Now you have to connect with your reader, the emotions. Is it the emotion of fear, the emotion of pleasure, the emotion of love? You have to be able to connect with that. Then by then you are hooking your reader to want to read your book more and want to continue with the book. Now, the next last one is conflict. If you have been following me, I've explained what conflict is to details before. Conflict has to do with a problem that you are trying to create in your story. Number one, an example is two lovers, and then one of them after the connection, the lovely, the romantic moment, then one of them decides to cheat. Now that is a problem. That is an issue that is happening relationship in that relationship. I mean, let me explain to details. Now you are creating an emotional environment, environment of love, and then you are introducing you are hooking your readers with the environment of emotional love, and then you are hooking them by creating a conflict. The reader will start getting angry, like, wow, why did this person decided to do this? I thought they were in love, I thought they were this, then they start taking sides of somebody. By then you're making your reader want to read more, want to know what eventually happened, why this happened, and all. Then now you also need to know about conflict stats. Your main conflict does not need to appear on the first page. Aha. It's not necessarily that your main conflict has to appear on the first page. It is good to introduce conflict at the first page because it connects your reader more right from the beginning of the story. But at the same time, it is not necessary that you introduce the main conflict of the story there, because at the end your reader already knows what it is in the story. So now but one thing the things you should know is that your conflict must be relatable. Your readers must be able to connect with it. They must be able to understand the conflict that you're trying to pass across, and then too, it must be immediate. It must be something that they find around them. It must be a situation that they are familiar with. Now the next one is it must be compelling. Your conflict must be compelling. And lastly, it must be part of your character's journey. Aha. So it's not that you're introducing a conflict entirely different from your character. No. So that's going to be the end for this class, and I need to remind you of all the things I have mentioned on how to write a killer first page. Number one is start your story, begin your story. Then you should know how far you should go. Then you should hook your reader. How do you hook your reader? By creating an interesting world, by writing a compelling mystery, by creating an emotional hook, and lastly, by creating conflict. And I also said about conflict that your conflict must be relatable, it must be immediate, it must be compelling, and it must be part of your character story. So, in the next class, hopefully, I'm going to be your teacher. I want you to follow more on our pages on Facebook, on Twitter. You're going to find them below. Thank you for joining this class. I'm so happy to have you.